Hello and welcome to the Creator's Garden. I am called Harpy, and today we'll be continuing work on the comic known as The Actress's Tale. We've been getting pretty well along in terms of continuing making the comics as well as they could be. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and move on to the main camera. There we go. So as you can see, we already have a decent part of this page inked already. There's still some parts that still need to be inked. I was testing out a couple of things with the alcohol markers, so that's why there's already a little bit of shading already done there. And I've already got the word bubbles finished, so yeah. I'm just gonna take a quick moment to make sure everything is all good and ready. Okay, lovely. Admittedly, today I started a little bit later than my usual time, if only because I wasn't sure how I was going to be feeling. We had a very busy day yesterday. Made a whole lot of bread and seed-related food items for the Borbs. So they've been feasting. And if you thought the Borbs were round and pudgy looking before, oh, you should see them now. They're practically spheres. Now, in terms of story progress, I think the page after this I can solidify later. Same with the next page. Yeah, I think actually third page might also be good to go as well. Okay, so I have 3 pages that I can confidently say I can start inking and coloring. The 4th page afterwards, I still need to figure out some of the artwork that goes in there. Because a lot of the times I'm coming up with, I suppose, the scripted dialogue. So I come up with the dialogue first, and then I think about what I should be focusing on in those moments to, like, either enhance the dialogue or maybe just make something else apparent in the meantime. So yeah. But those may be for another day. Right now I'm still on the trajectory of doing 1 page per stream. And why am I warm already? I thought I wasn't going to be warm, and then I am. Yes, I think some of the Borbs are looking to hibernate for the winter already. They're so stuffed from yesterday. As for me, I had a few things to eat and drink myself before stream started. Some cheese and crackers. I think I tried out a new cheese recently. It was like more of a truffle brie, I think. It was very interesting. I've had truffle salt related things, so it tasted about as good as that. I probably should not be using this color to ink that part. But I also have a fruity drink with me on standby. Because, as always, it is always best to take care of yourself, stay hydrated, try not to shrimp for too long. As usual, there will be points of silence during this, but it's only because I'm also focusing and chilling as well. It's a part of the art process that I feel I can really enjoy. You just find a zone and just kind of go with the flow. Didn't realize that I neglected to line art the irises. But yes, I hope that everyone who's watching the VOD is doing well. Hope you're keeping warm. And hopefully not too warm as well. And I need to get better at keeping my art in frame. Because unfortunately, with the way that I have my camera laid out, it's not completely filling the entire frame, but that's also because I'm trying to keep it zoomed in so that you can see it better. So I just need to remember to keep adjusting that so you can see. And it's just as well because it's only these 3 panels that I still need to ink anyways, so I think this stream is also going to be the final autumn themed stream of this year, 2025. So after that, we're going to be heading into the winter theme, which will be fun. Which means I can start bringing out another outfit. Admittedly, shots like these where it's all like zoomed out, meaning I have to draw the details a lot smaller, is a little bit more difficult for me. think I got everything. Almost. Let's see what the Sanctus character generator brings up today. Vakshi, Captain of the Bee Guard. I find that he's a lot of people's favorites just because he's so adorable. And you can see that for yourself. And seeing his sticker form. Which, by the way, these stickers are available on my Ko-fi shop right up there. I mean, I've talked about Vakshi a lot of times on previous streams. And I'm honestly also hoping to give him a little bit of more characterization in this current comic, as I'm at least trying to reveal a couple more things about his character that become at least a bit more important as the story goes on. I guess I can start with some meta backstory as to how I came up with Vakshi. Originally, Vakshi was a tabletop character. Like, when you play, your sort of tabletop role-playing games, like Pathfinder or something like that. And I found one that seemed simple enough, and it had things like lizard folk and insect folk and stuff like that. So I thought, oh, why not make a bee character, like a bee knight? That was the original starting concept, was a bee knight. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be like really fun to have a character who was like a chivalrous bee knight, who was like, oh, I'd give up my stinger if it were to like save a life of a trusted compatriot or something like that. And I think in the lore, like, the insect folk and lizard folk were basically like at war or something. Like they didn't like each other for whatever reason, and it was going to be a whole thing where like my bee knight and a friend's lizard folk character would eventually like become best buddies to the point where he'd actually give up his stinger for him. So I thought that was going to be like a really cool thing. It didn't really quite come to pass, but it's been talked about, so stuff happens. Sometimes that's just how it goes with tabletop stories, But eventually, I started refining the character because I've grown to like the Bee Knight a whole lot, even if we didn't actually like finish the main story that they were supposed to do. We still enjoyed those characters a lot. And it was during that time that I actually did some research on honeybees just to see if there was anything more that I could add to my character lore-wise that could be fun. And that's when I discovered that only the worker bees have stingers. The workers, I think the queen maybe, but the ones generally synonymous with the female of the species of bees, even though that's not completely correct. That's generally what I found out, was that the ones usually known to be synonymous with the female of the species are the ones that have the stingers. So I was like, well, I still wanted my bee to be a he with the stinger. So I'm like, well, I guess he's trans now. And I just flowed with it. I kept it. Because it's like, it didn't have to be a huge part of his character. It's just like, well, this is a thing now. And after that point, I think I just made it a conscious effort to be have it be just important enough to his character that it's visible, but it's not like his defining characteristic, Because that's a thing you don't want to do. If you're doing something to represent I guess a sort of culture or a perspective that's not your own, I think it really is important to not make that their main characteristic. It's make it important, sure, but don't make it their only thing. It's having the token girl character of any given group. It's yeah, her personality is she's female. double check that I still have my protective backing. Alright. You seem to be good to go. So yeah, ever since I finalized Fakshi's design, he's just become an integral part of the Snapdragon Club series, and everyone seems to love him. Which, you know, makes me happy. He is very adorable. But he's also very confident. let's see. Tomi Kinu, the pirate tailor. There's another deep cut, because she has not made an official appearance in the comics just yet, but is someone who I've been like working on in the background. So her deep history is that she actually started off as a One Piece fan character. Now, she's actually been through several design stages. Originally, she was going to be like the daughter of Nico Robin. And I think at her point, her name was something like Tomika, I think. That was at least her first name. And yeah, she had a completely different devil fruit power. I think it was like the HH fruit, which is really funny in hindsight, considering I think that's what, I think that's, was it Bonnie's devil fruit? It turns out. Which, like, dang. That's really funny. But eventually, like back then, I didn't have a specific place for her in the Straw Hat crew. It wasn't until I came up with Tomika version 2, in which I changed her design, and then her whole devil fruit power was creating just like clones. Like, it was all, I think it was just always strictly clones of herself. But all I knew was that her major thing was being a tailor, and she even got like a sort of like giant needle nunchuck type weapon as her weapon of choice. I put that fan version through a whole bunch of different stories. There was a lot of crossovers, a lot of shipping, as you do with fandom. But I guess eventually, once I hopped off the 1000 Sunny, I just kind of never went back, so I only like check up on One Piece every now and again. Just to see how the story's going. It's like seeing old friends and being like, hey, you still here? That's cool. Do I like where the story is going from what I'm seeing? I mean, it's going alright. But no matter where the story ends up going, I'll always be grateful for the part it had in being something that I was attached to for a long time. But yeah, that's where Tomi comes from. I've got a general idea for how she ends up in Sanctus now, but I'm still trying to figure out whether or not she actually has a story worth telling in a major comic. Or if she's just going to be another one that's in the background. Because right now, I feel like that's the case for a couple of characters that I had in mind. Because I don't want to end up with the problem of having too many main characters and just throwing them in there just because I really like them, you know? Like, they can still be there, they're just not going to be important or named in the story. it got a huge yield that time. Awesome. I think I need to refill this marker really quick because the brush end appears to be a little bit on the dry side. Okay, I think that part will do, and then I'll just refill it just a teensy bit more from here because it's easier to make sure I don't overfill from this side. Jeez. Just when? When did this start happening? Well, this is why we have protective services. How or when that happened. I'm just going to try and wipe that off as best as I can because I know that's just going to be a problem waiting to happen later down the line. Okay. But at least that's filled up. And just for good measure, let's see what scientist character we get this time. Really? We're gonna get Dolly again? Look. I love Dolly as much as the next person, but... You know, it's like... I feel like of all my characters, Dolly is the most recognizable, the most quote-unquote famous of them. Just because she has a longer... more visual history than most of my characters, I feel. Like, she had a whole thing going on with a previous attempt at an internet show in a different incarnation in which she went under a different name. And for lore purposes, yes, that is her true Fae name. But shh, don't abuse it. Don't abuse it. But yeah. I do love her to bits, but you know, when I have so many other characters that I feel like also deserve that amount of love too, it's like, I don't know. I'm grateful you still love her. I really do. But I have so many. Like, look at this buff snake guy. He's a sweetheart. And him you'll see in this comic that I'm making. Him, you can love him or hate him. He is a bad guy after all. You see this one in the Hunter's Tale comic. I think he's pretty cool. Same goes for Shade the Nightmare Fae. Also really cool. Also in the Hunter's Tale. Farmhand, you see them in both the grand opening as well as the Wanderer's Tale. And Wanderer's Tale, oh, they're actually voiced, so yeah. Because Wanderer's Tale has a comic dub, if you haven't seen it. It's the first comic dub in which I, you know, asked for help finding voice actors and all that, so yeah. But Farmhand's adorable. And fun fact, Farmhand started out as a Humstar Runner fan character. And then here's the Fae of the Hour, dolly. She's basically like this world's version of Santa. Like, she's the toy face. She just uses her giant hat as a sack full of toys. But yeah, I can see why everyone loves her. She is a very adorable Ofe. You know, this is why I had to make sure that there was also a sticker of her, because, you know, she's cute. How can you say no to that face? And there's the forest guardian. Who is also really cool, is seen in The Hunter's Tale. And here's Dreamwalker. I also think he's really cool. He's only technically made an appearance in the Sanctus pilot and the grand opening comic. Mac. We all love Mac. Chill cat dude. And of course Vakshi, we already talked about him. Piero. For those who like their anti-heroes or their dark vampire characters. Crystal, the main protagonist of The Hunter's Tale. She's super awesome. Scotty Hijack. Basically, who I'm trying to make the overall protagonist of the Snapdragon Club series. Though so far they've only made their appearance in the pilot and the grand opening comic. And here's Mackenzie Varens, the protagonist, or at least the main character of The Actress's Tale. She's the titular actress. And this is Oren Kingsley. She's a grumpy detective. And also, like, one of Mac's best friends. The rest of these are just variations of my Harpy form. Oh. Hello, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you here, Mr. Repairman. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I did. I hope you did too. Anyways. I didn't mean for this to become a showing off my sticker segment, but the main point of it being, I have a lot of characters in Sanctus, and I very much love all of them. And I hope one day, you know, everyone gets their favorite, you know? I hope they all become someone's favorite someday. yes, we haven't gotten too far so far. We're just currently coloring this page. Which I had to refill this marker really quickly because it was getting a little dry. Which means that the color wasn't going to lay down quite as smoothly. But yes, I suppose for me it would be more of a Borbs giving. It is the day in which I feed all the Borbs and they become rounder than usual. Is turkey still on the menu for bird folk and Borbs? That is a fun question. My joke answer is to say, no, I'm sorry. Free Birds made sure that they went back to the first Thanksgiving to take turkeys off the menu. But, I could say that in some circles of bird folk culture, some may partake in poultry. It's sort of a like maybe not completely a human to monkey thing, but it's sort of on a similar level, or like a Animal Crossing frog and a normal frog sort of thing, where it's like, yes, technically they'd be like part of the same like animal groups. I don't know what the technical term would be for that, but they aren't considered like the same. Do borbs eat turkey though? I would say that they would eat indiscriminate pieces of meat. Like if they recognized it as a bird, they probably wouldn't eat it. But if I like cut it up into like chunks of meat, that they probably would, because it no longer resembles the animal it came from. That sort of thing. Borbs are not always the brightest. And sometimes they're just picky. Although that brings up an interesting question. In Dungeon Smalls, do, what was it, gnomes and drow eat turkey? Or do they even have, like, any sort of, like, season or holiday of giving thanks? haven't thought much of holidays, to be honest. In terms of foodstuffs, though, both goblins and gnomes can eat poultry. Yeah, awesome. I mean, you gotta take what you can get, right? Have you thought about what Brutal and Plut's favorite foods is? Obligatory Harpy question: How do shirts work with winged folk? Well, they have to have slits in the back. Usually the wings are flexible enough that they can sort of like pop through the holes. So that goes for people like Vakshi with his bee wings as well. And as for me, well, I'm a special case. I can transform, so I can usually just add the wings after I'm done. Plet has a refined palate, whereas Brutal, it's anything with good friends and good drink. That makes sense. That makes sense for them, yeah. Usually something meaty in the latter case, but for the former, he has to make the dish as well as he can. That is fair. Plet does seem like he'd be more into finer dining. I completely forgot that there was supposed to be curtains over the windows, so had to go back and fix that. Sky blue. No, I don't think that's sky blue. The number of things I've forgotten while coloring and realized I had to go and correct the line art. Yeah. I mean, honestly, most of the time I can correct the line art after, like, usually what happens is that I'll think I'll be done with the line art, then I'll erase, and then I'll realize that I missed a couple of places where I forgot to line art and have to go back and correct that. Or sometimes, if I'm super lazy and not doing the whole colored line art thing, what ends up usually becoming a problem for me is when I do a piece like completely in black line art, is that sometimes I'll be forgetting what that line was supposed to represent. Like, was this a boundary for the back, like something in the background, or was it a piece of like his clothing? And then I'll start coloring, and then by the time I start coloring something in, I'll be like, oh wait, that was supposed to be a different color. I wouldn't have this problem if I had color coded it to begin with. But yeah, that's part of the reason why I've started doing colored line art, is so that way when I'm mindlessly coloring, it's not as big an issue. Also, a quick volume check. Just checking to make sure that the music isn't too loud or I'm not too quiet, that sort of thing. Although, to be honest, it'd just be asking about the music volume because I just figured out how my volume settings work. Thank you, Mr. Pearman, for the volume check. And the Ember, welcome, welcome. Please remember to check the rules and stuff. But otherwise, feel free to just hang out, enjoy the fishing and the cool vibes. I always feel like coloring Piero was a little bit tricky because he's like basically all shades of blue, and more often than not he is against a blue background, which is even more troublesome. I only have so many shades of blue. But yeah, in the chat or in the comments, let me know. What was your favorite thing to eat yesterday? For me, oh, it's a tough one. There was a lot of good food, actually. There was Brussels sprouts. And Brussels sprouts and gravy. And mashed potatoes. Those were really good. Yes, it is a barb. Hello, Ferox. Welcome, welcome. Mashed potatoes and gravy is always good. Yeah. Favorite thing to eat yesterday? Good and varied food. Yeah, sometimes there's just so much that it's really hard to choose. And then you end up getting one of everything. And then you wonder why you're so full. Should be drawing for my comic, but this time of year makes it tough. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have a big project going on, sometimes it's just like really tough to keep it going. Which is why I went down from doing 2 pages per stream to 1 page per stream. Mostly because I'm still trying to sketch out and write the rest of the upcoming pages. And I know that part of the process is not exactly the most glamorous to stream. Mostly because if I were to sit here and actually try to come up with the sketching and like dialogue on stream, you'd just be seeing a lot of me sitting here like, yeah. Because there are some parts of the art process where quiet and not being distracted is kind of necessary. Like, usually during those parts of the process, I wouldn't be, like, attempting to play video games. I wouldn't be attempting to listen to podcasts. I would just maybe put on something that's instrumental, very mellow. Kind of like this. Kind of like the music that's playing now. And just kind of just sit with myself and think for a while. You did a small Black Friday splurge. Hope you got some good deals. Busy with Christmas or any winter holiday you celebrate mixed issues. Yeah. Honestly, I'm glad I have at least a couple things ready to at least decorate the stream overlay for the winter season. Otherwise, that would also be a problem. And honestly, having this new model really does make me happy because, I mean, look, I'm so expressive. You can see my wings and my tail. Bought a new drawing tablet. Hope it comes in next week. Ooh. Sounds exciting. Hope you get a lot of good use out of it. I thought I was going to leave this mouth like fairly open and wide, but nah, it didn't look right. And the last one lasts 10 plus years, so I should. I know that feeling. Usually there's this one piece of technology where I would just keep it forever and ever and ever and ever, to the point where it's on its last legs. And by the time I get a new one, everyone else is like, wait, what? You've had it for how long? And they're like, yeah, you really needed a new one. Because, yeah, I can usually get by with what I have fairly decently. It's only when I feel I really need to get something new and something that won't easily cause me problems that I'm like, alright, I'll bite the bullet. But yeah, I'm very glad to be relaxing with some artwork today. I've also been playing a little bit of Critter Cove. Sort of a chill village builder with, you know, some crafting exploration mechanics in there. And I finally got to the point where I'm getting into what I believe to be some endgame stuff. It is still in early access though, so this is just me being late to the game, I suppose. But, you know, sometimes that's a good thing because then you're not sitting there waiting for all the newer content to come up. You already have it all. That sounds nice, yeah? What I found super funny about the game was just how customizable it was. I literally was able to make my Harpy form in that game. Wings, tail, beak, even generally the right hairstyle. But yeah. Like, some things are a little wonky here and there, but, you know, considering everything it offers, I think that was the give and take I was willing to have. I should probably go look back at my other panels. I have to be a good comic artist and be consistent. As you can see in the past page right here, I did color the outside at some point, so gotta be somewhat good about it. I had to take a moment to think of where I was putting the moon. think I'm almost done. Just need to add some bug once again, and then we'll call it done. these gel pens is that I gotta treat them a little bit more like acrylic markers so that the ink actually comes out. Gotta try to not be too impatient with these. Don't rush a miracle. You rush a miracle, you get rotten miracles. But I think that's going to be it for today. So here is, oops, here's the finished page. Considering the troubles with the severe amount of blue, I think this turned out alright. That leaves inking for the next page for next time. You like the wispy effects? Thank you. But yep. So next Friday we'll be working on this page. But thank you everyone so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your time here. To everyone who stopped by in chat and everyone who stopped by to watch the VOD, I appreciate all of you. And if you enjoy my artwork, I hope you consider the usual YouTube stuff liking, commenting, subscribing. And if you're feeling super generous, I do have a Ko-fi link right up here where you can donate to buy me a boba, or you can become a visitor of Sanctus and get a board attributed to you with your name, your username. And once again, for the third time probably this stream, stickers are available. So thank you everyone for joining me today, and I will see you in December. Have a good weekend, everyone. Goodbye.